This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. I'm going to give my guest a break from having to talk about the Myles Garrett trade. We're going to give you a little change in palette here. Obviously, that's the number one topic of the day. But there are other things going on with this Cleveland Browns football team. And to help me talk about those things, I brought on my guy, B-Jack70. You can see the jersey in the back. Former West Virginia football player, was out there blocking for Geno Smith. And I've been meaning to ask you this question. How do you feel about certain people, we ain't got to name them, putting curses on Geno Smith that were clearly effective and not taking responsibility? You know what I mean? How do we feel?
Not great. Not great about it. And we don't even have to get into it really, but I'm making sure Geno can do okay in New York. Part two.
He back
Jets
in New
part
York.
two.
Ooh, he back in New York. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. But the Browns have this offseason, right? They've done a lot, but where they've really put their focus is on this offensive line. They're going to have 5 new week 1 starters. They brought in 6 new offensive linemen. What they said the other day, 4 of those spots are set, right? So Spano's going to be at left tackle. Howard's going to be at right tackle. Jenkins is going to be, Elgin Jenkins, was he one of the ones they said was set, or were they?
I don't know if he's set. Like I think they want to probably see him with pads on at guard and center.
Yeah, so
before they make that decision.
But he's starting for sure.
He's one of the 5.
And then there's Zion Johnson, who's another free agency signing. So 4 of those spots are set. We're looking at that center position. My big question about filling that role there is, one, how much support does it take to carry one offensive lineman on a line, right? Because I've heard linemen talk about this where it's like, you give me 3, we can make the other 2 just be out there, right? How much support does it take, and does it matter the alignment of that support to be able to get to the whole offensive line? So like, let's say you're really lopsided on one side where it's like your center, your guard, and your tackle on your left side is really good, but then on that other side it's a mystery. Like, how do you basically carry that 4th member if you're the Browns, whether it's Parker Brailsford or whoever it might be?
Putting experience around them, which they're going to be able to do. Like, you're going to have Spencer out there left tackle as a rookie, and we know that. We know that's coming. That's okay. But you really got to put guys next to each other that trust each other, that work well together. And they need to be able to get those reps as a unit together so we can figure out, so we can mix and match who goes where. So something like next week when mandatory minicamp starts and everybody's in the building, that's going to be really important to set this offensive line depth chart so they can start to make those decisions like, oh, maybe we do want Elton Jenkins at center and then Tevin Jenkins at guard and then go from there.
I feel like we hear the term chemistry a lot with the offensive line, right? But I don't feel like people define chemistry a ton when it comes to the offensive line. From like your experience, what does it mean to have chemistry with your offensive line mates? Like, is it just being really dialed in, knowing what protections match with what plays and what options the quarterback has there? Or is it something more to that, like anticipating what the habits of the players next to you are and what they're most likely to do because you didn't see them in so many scenarios? Like, how does that work when we talk about it more than just like saying, oh, they're going to need to build chemistry?
Yeah, for sure. It's really a combination of all those things that you mentioned. Because when you're walking up to the line as an offensive lineman, you have the play call, so you know what you're doing, but you have to react to also what the defense is doing. So you kind of have to trust the person that's next to you, that they know what they're doing, and you can only trust and believe in that if you've seen it through repetition. Like if you're a guard and you get an A gap blitzer, you know the center knows what to do, or you know the center knows, oh, hey, that's my guy. He's gonna go work elsewhere. So like that's the only thing you can like get through repetition, um, like blitz pickup and pass rush drills.
Being at a place
You
where it's
really can,
like you can just trust that all you have to do is your job, basically, right?
yeah, for sure. And like there's so many like people would be surprised at how many audible calls that need to be made at the offensive line. Like it depends on like the level that you played at, what team you played for, like what those calls are. Like one team will teach it this way, one team will teach it that way. But there's a million different words that mean like lucky, Lucy, Louie to go left, or Ricky, or something else to go right. But even just like between the tackle and the guard, like we got to fan this out. There's an extra guy over here. We got to go. Both of us got to go over and block these two guys. Um, just there's so many little intricacies, and that's really important. And like that starts right now in June, in July, in August.
Yeah, it's why it's important that those guys are there. Another thing I've thought about, right? And I said this, where I'm like, I kind of expect the Browns to struggle early on because I feel like the scope of what they're trying to put together on the offensive line, just in the offense in total, is just longer than what they have right now, right? Like we're talking about 5 new guys who have never played with each other. And will play their first real game with each other. Like the preseason, like they're not sim pressuring you. They're not trying to confuse you that much. They're basically just running stock stuff so they can get tape, see how you do some basic things or how they can sell it to other teams. So you're not really going to be stress tested in that way. Like you might get stress tested in joint practice, maybe behind closed doors by your own defense a little bit. But like, do you think that there's a way to kind of speed up the learning process between these guys to get to a place to where at the beginning of the season, that offensive line is where it needs to be? And realistically, how deep into the season do you think we're going to be until we start to really understand what they could be like together?
I wish I could say they have enough time before week one, but they don't. Like you said, it's 5 new guys in a new system. So it's new for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's new for the receivers, it's new for the quarterbacks, it's new for the running backs. So they're not going to be where they need to be week one. Like week one, they'll just be going off of basically how good they are individually. Like I'm sure it's gonna come up. Somebody's gonna blitz right through the line. Nobody's gonna pick him up, and people's gonna say whose fault it is, or what happened. But it's just gonna be one of those things that you have to deal with. That you, quite frankly, if you're Todd Monken or if you're Andrew Berry, you know that this is coming. Like going into it, you're gonna have some growing pains, and hopefully by week 3, week 4, you've seen enough, you've done enough film study, you've done enough self scouting, watching your own tape to know, okay, this is the group we need to be with, and this is how we're going to do things. We can adjust here or there, but I'm no later than week 4, week 5. I would say they should be stable in that sense.
That's an interesting thing too, because like you brought it up, and I haven't really even thought about it. The coaches don't really even know like what they truly got in these guys yet, because like so many question marks. These guys haven't really played with these coaches before, so there is that question of like, oh, they might think that Zion right now could do one thing, but they come down to the season and they're like, oh, he's not doing this well, but actually he is doing this really well, and that changes how the offense looks and how they try to hide that. We'll hear Todd Monken when he's doing press conferences about the offensive line, talk about how he can, how you can hide things as a play caller or put guys in a favorable position. My question when I hear Todd say that is, how many of those little adjustments can you make until you start to break some of the concepts that you're trying to run? Because I feel like that, like we always talk about adjustments. Oh, you can make adjustments. You can only adjust the car so much until it starts to not do what it's supposed to do, right? So like how many adjustments can a play withhold before it starts to really break? Or how many adjustments can you have out there in your mind before you just start to limit yourself as a play caller? Is that the more realistic result there?
Yeah, there's only so much you can do as an offensive lineman. Like when we talk about adjustments, like if we go into halftime, there's like it's only like a step, like a step this way instead of another way that we're switching up, or like a different call, like, oh, we're calling, I don't want to make up words, but like we call one thing, but now we see what they're doing. We're making another call, and like that doesn't necessarily mess with
When
the
you say a
play
call,
call, or
specifically
or the way the play is drawn up.
yeah, when you
But
say calls,
um,
specifically, like what do you mean as like for the offensive line when they're like, oh, we had a call in? You're not talking about like the play call overall, but you're kind of talking
yeah,
about what the protection is and how you guys are, what you're pairing with that play.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, my bad. My apologies. Going a little bit too deep. Um, but like when I say call in that sense, like our between me, I'm thinking is like the left tackle, like me and the left guard, our specific job, we would say like kangaroo and it means
Mm,
one thing, but now we got to say Kansas and now we're doing another thing.
mm,
And like those are kind of the adjustments that you can make. When it comes to like what they would do day to day, week to week, making those adjustments. Honestly, it would probably get to a point if we can't run this, either get somebody else to see if we can run it with them in, or it's just a bad play and we're not going to run that specific play call until we can find somebody to run it.
Hey, this conversation I have going on with Beat Jax, make sure you follow him on Twitter, will continue, but I have to thank my sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a fun way to earn cash while you watch your favorite teams. No complex betting rules, just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Here are my picks for this upcoming season, AFC North edition. Jimmy Bernard, I have less than 475. This has to do with volume available in Pittsburgh's offense. Quincy Judkins, I have over 975. Browns improved line. I think the run game is going to be better with it. Chase Brown under 900 yards. Joe Burrow equals less rushing yards usually for the Bengals offense. Mark Andrews more than 475 yards. Lamar's going to need a safety blanket. Check to see if PrizePicks is available in your state. You could follow me on the app at Quinn_C to see all my lineups. Download the PrizePicks app today. Play $5 and get $50 in lineup to download the app using the link in the description. Yeah, that's one of the things I wonder how much of an adjustment that's going to be for Todd, right? Because there are differences between there are big differences between being a coordinator and a head coach, right? Where it's like, you don't really got to manage that when you're the coordinator as much because it's like, okay, we'll try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like, you got to put together the game plan. Like when you're the head coach and you got to figure out like, okay, what can we run? Who can we have up, right? That's a different question. Like, who do you have up? Who do you not? And all those things are going to factor in to what the Browns are doing. It seems like they have prioritized a certain type of offensive lineman where they can get up and hit in space. Now, I've been pointing to that. I've also been pointing to the fact that, like, if you look at Todd Monken, people think that, oh, yeah, he's an air raid guy. He wants to throw the ball downfield. He ran the ball with Derrick Henry 347 times. He ran that ball with him 307 times last year. And he came from Georgia after he left Cleveland, where he was running the ball a ton there too. Todd wants to run this ball. I think, part of like the gamesmanship and him putting all this attention on the quarterback position is him kind of like making you look one way. Oh, yeah, look at the quarterback. We're actually going to run the ball 30 times a game, right? Like, I think that is the game plan for Todd. He brought over his run game coordinator from Baltimore. I don't think that's a coincidence, right? Like, and what he wants to focus in. You go Spencer Fano, right? What can Spencer do? He can get out of space and hit people. Great feat. How do you think, and when you look at like the improvement from year to year, the part of the offensive line that needed to improve last year, it wasn't necessarily the pass protection, even though a lot got made out of that. They weren't terrible. They were just awful at dealing with any kind of an adjustment on the defensive line, right? But like their pass block win rate, the raw number of it wasn't that bad. Their run blocking was awful, right? That's where they looked old and weak. It's when they were run blocking. How much of an upgrade do you think they've made over the last 6 months to that offensive line, to where do you think they're going to be able to feature that run game, and we're really going to get to see Quincy get to have a fair shot to like get the kind of numbers we expected him to get last year?
A significant amount. A significant amount. Like literally, like this is why you bring in five new guys. Well, five new starters and what, 6 or 7 new guys just in general. Because you got to get that run game going. I think Quinshawn, Dylan Sampson, who else is
Rocket Sanders,
Raheem Sanders
yeah.
back there? Like they're gonna think back to last year, and when they get into camp this year, like wow, I'm seeing holes I never even thought were possible on the pro level before, because it looks completely different. Like we got real like young guys. Last year you got as great as they have been, you had Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller on that offensive line, but these guys are young and rejuvenated, um, and should be a significant upgrade.
Now, for our audience here, could you walk our audience kind of through the differences between like a wide zone approach when it comes to the run game and a heavy counter approach, which like if you look at Todd, what he did in Baltimore, especially early 2023, tons of counter in there. So it's like people usually go gap wide zone kind of distinction there, but like explain to the folks at home kind of what counter means for the offensive linemen specifically.
Yeah, so counter, you kind of it really is what the name of it is. Like counter, you're trying to misdirect the defense to make them go one way,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going the other way, and you're usually doing that with a pulling guard, in some cases a pulling tackle. I ran a lot of tackle counter in high school, and that was a lot of fun for me personally. Even rare times it could happen with the center, but usually like that's only going to happen like with the Jason Kelce's of the world, when they really can get out there like that.
Do you think
But
because
yeah,
they went with
that's
like a Parker
sorry.
Brailsford that's something that they want to go with? Like something that they might envision in there, getting a guy who's smaller but a little bit more athletic. Are they trying to get some of those kicks from the center?
They might be able to do that. That might be something that they look into. I, to be fair, have not seen a lot of the Parker Brailsford film yet,
Mm.
so I don't know if that would be something that he would be able to do. But that, I mean, at this point, try everything. I know Todd is able to be malleable when it comes to running this offense. So like you can probably put a little bit of everything in there to start, just to see what it looks like. And I'm sure on the days that we're having OTAs with no media present, they're trying some stuff out. Like they want to see like what can they get off, what can they do, and like working with the quarterbacks too, because that's like a different set of footwork. That's a different like set of ball handling skills as well. So like they're probably trying a little bit of all of that stuff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they kind of find their groove. And I think that's part of what we're talking about, right? Where it's like it's going to take some time for this run game. it's going to take time for them to figure out, okay, this is what we could do really well. Maybe we can kick Parker Brailsburg out, right? Like maybe that's like a secret weapon we go to. Maybe we try it once and it goes horrible, right? And it's like, oh, it's out the play sheet. And we got to run that a different way. I think that's a big part of it. How long do you think the run game, like, do you think that the run game and the passing, like, kind of chemistry with this offensive line is going to come together at the same time? Or do you expect, like, the run game to take a little bit longer, a little bit less? Because that one, to me, it feels like either the pieces match or they don't. You feel me? Like, either y'all have a good timing from when you can hit and when that's in sync, or you don't. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking the run game will take a little bit less time to come together because yes, when you walk into the line, like you have rules, you have different assignments, and you got to like make sure those are good. But for the most part, it's go find your guy and hit them. And yeah, there's like technique involved and different steps you got to take in right ways to go about things. But when it comes down to running the football, it's really just about like, are you big enough? Are you strong enough? Can you go put a hat on a hat? Um, and I think that will come together before they have to like figure out blitz pickup or figure out what they're doing in empty versus what they're doing with an attached tight end versus what they're doing in like a two back situation. Like there's so many different variables when it comes to pass protection. I think just invariably the running game is going to be easier.
I think the light bulb's going to go off for Quinshawn when he realizes he does not have to walk to get behind his blocks anymore, right? Like there were a lot of times where you got to wait for Joel to get out there. He's got to waste a lot of time in the backfield so Joel can get where he needs to. I wonder how that's going to be when it's like, oh no, he right there. I can just put this foot in, go downhill, and they can get that timing right. Because I think that's going to be kind of critical with how Quinshawn runs the ball. He can be patient, but I'm hoping this year that we don't have to see him be patient like he had to be last year, right? Like I'm hoping that he could be more decisive, get downfield, because man, when that guy gets going, he's tough to tackle. Like he is like a block of tungsten out there running the football. He is a dense human being when it comes to his ability to tackle.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun to see him because he will be a load to bring down. He's a special football player, in my opinion. Um, but the good thing about if you give Quinshawn more room to really get active, that's just gonna when you get Dylan Sampson in there, it's gonna be a completely different kind of back. So they're not like that defense is gonna be off balance. They're not gonna be able to adjust like, oh, we had to bear down and try to tackle Quinshawn, and now we got to really fight to stay on our feet to tackle Dylan Sampson now.
Yeah, and I was talking about this with Cole, where it's like you're going to see the quarterback get 30, 35 pass attempts, but like how many of those pass attempts are going to be extended run plays with Casey Concepcion? Right? How many times are we just going to be trying to get him involved and not necessarily like Debo Samuel's level in the run game, but you know, we're going to try to expand it horizontally, horizontally with what that kind of athleticism could do at the edges, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I will just throw this in there. If I could go without seeing a wide receiver reverse for at least a year, I'd be good. I'd be okay.
I don't think we're going to see the reverses, but I do think we'll get more like screens because like the off coverage that they got last year, they got a lot of off coverage. They didn't really throw right at it. Just like let not Quinshawn, but let KC come in there, tunnel underneath it. Or honestly, what I want to see them hit more is some RPO stuff, right? Like with all the stuff that Todd's been talking about. If your quarterback play is not going to be good, we could just make it simple, right? I think this is my argument for Taylor Green as an NFL quarterback. I don't think it's likely, but I do think that you can basically doctor that thing up and go all the way in on RPO. Right. I mean, more in than anybody's ever been. Go full Greg Roman and even further. Right. Like, I'm talking about some shameless. Yes, we're going to run this. Like, yeah, we're just going to do this until your emo does something that he's supposed to do that stops it. Right. Basically. So that's to me, is like a way that they could go. I don't know with Shador and Deshaun. Maybe Deshaun is why that's so intriguing to them. It's like if they feel like there's some athletic ability there, they might be able to do something. Like if they want to run a lot of counter, right, they got to have something pulling that other direction. And if Deshaun can have a little bit of gravity there, I think that'd be interesting. It's also why I don't think they can ignore Brendan Sorsby, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I know.
You're completely right. His profile as a football player,
yes,
would lend itself positively to that, but that brother was gambling on balls and strikes.
Yes. So it's difficult, right, to figure out how you want to land on that. I do think also the intriguing thing is like, I wonder how much you see Lenore Sellers as his equal if you are somebody like Andrew Barry and somebody who could be an orange dot guy for you, right? Because like Lenore's character stuff's really strong. If you've noticed, this is a low-key thing that like the Browns have really been going to the last couple of years. And like it factors in with the Jared Verse stuff too. Andrew brings up guys who stay in college in the same place for 4 years all the time in his press conferences. Like if you know, he brought it up with Spencer Fano, right? Like, hey, he stayed in the same place, right? Like he notices guys who don't transfer a ton. And like he'll still draft guys who transfers, obviously. Like you can't do that in modern NFL. But like his orange dot guys, the guys that they rave about the character in the press conference, that's always something that comes up. He was here for a long time. He's willing to stay. And I wonder if that's something that they're focused on. Like the part of the thing with Jared Verse is they feel like they can keep him on the roster for a long time. He's not going to axe out, right? He's not that kind of dude that'll do that. So I do wonder, they look at Lenore Sellers. We're looking at him staying at South Carolina, and we're like, I don't know why you did that. The Browns might be looking at that and go, that might be our guy because of those reasons. And I'm like, the only thing that will really stop me from the whole Brendan Sorsby thing if I'm Cleveland is if I really value Lenore Sellers, because that's obtainable, right? He might not be of the first two quarterbacks taken. And he might have some questions about him because I don't see his season being much better in South Carolina than it was last year. But tremendous athlete. I mean, we're talking about guys who can get gravity. Tremendous athlete and tremendous arm talent there.
Yeah, that's a different kind of specimen at quarterback. Like that is of the mold. Like you take him, like somebody will take him and just pray they can figure it out. Because the arm is there, the athleticism is there, the character seemingly, I know, like we as Browns fans, we think we know a character, but you never really know.
Never know.
But as far as we know now, stand up guy, is just like the real deal quarterback stuff. And to be fair to him, like you said, South Carolina was not a great spot to play quarterback in 2025. So I'm hoping like he can kind of rise above it and we can really see, what he is.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is his end of game stuff is terrifying. like, I don't know if you grow out of that, right? But that's a conversation to have during the season.